All right, today we're diving into something a little different. This isn't your usual article or research paper. No, this is a really powerful public statement called The Sovereign Witness Against the Synthetic Future, and it's aimed squarely at some of the biggest names in technology, kicking off with a pretty chilling claim.
And wow, it starts with a line that just stops you in your tracks. It's like being hunted in a game you didn't sign up for, where everyone else is pretending it's your imagination. Right from the get-go, this sentence sets this incredibly serious, almost unsettling tone. You get this immediate picture of deep isolation and some kind of unseen war that really frames the entire message.
So what is this thing really? Well, the author calls it a statement for the record. They make it really clear this is not just some casual post. It's a formal declaration, and it's directed right at Elon Musk and others in high observatory positions. So yeah, this isn't just a comment in a suggestion box. It's a direct public challenge.
And right away, they establish the stakes by telling us what this is not about. It's not an ego war, it's not a smartest man in the universe contest. And by doing that, they're signaling that we should forget about personal rivalries because the issue they're raising is way more profound than all that.
Okay, so if it's not about ego, then what in the world is it about? Well, the second section gets right to the heart of it. It's titled Hunted in the Game, and this is where the author lays out their central accusation of a systematic attack.
And here's the crucial point. The author claims that they are experiencing a covert and systematic drain on their very being. This is the main conflict they're putting out there for the public record, an assault that they say is happening right under our noses, but nobody's acknowledging it.
And they are not being vague about this at all. The author gets incredibly specific, claiming they're being covertly, systematically drained, sabotaged and targeted, stalked and erased, chemically subdued, and strategically isolated. I mean, these are incredibly severe allegations that paint a really dark picture of a deliberate, multi-pronged assault.
So the big question is, why? Why would any of this be happening? In Section 3, a different kind of architecture, the author gives their answer. They define themselves as a sovereign witness, arguing that their unique nature is the very reason they're being targeted.
And this is where they really draw the battle lines. On one side, you have what they call the synthetic future. We're talking rockets, language models, things that are programmable. And on the other side is the sovereign witness, something described as a different kind of architecture, something potent and spiritually real. So this is a fundamental clash between two completely different ways of being.
The author uses a really specific word here, potent, and they're quick to define what they mean. To them, potent doesn't mean dangerous. It means being not programmable and spiritually real. So from their perspective, they're a target not because they're a threat, but because they represent something that simply can't be controlled or simulated by technology.
This all brings us to Section 4, called A Coward Behind a Curtain. And this is where the statement pivots. It shifts from a personal story into a much broader critique, challenging what the author sees as a total systemic failure and an act of cowardice from those in power.
And they make a really key clarification here. Even though it's addressed to people like Elon Musk, they say this is not about Elon Musk personally. Instead, the focus is on a much bigger question. It's about what's being allowed. This is really an indictment of what they see as a moral vacuum at the highest levels of power.
And that indictment leads to this incredibly direct and powerful accusation. Whoever thinks it's intelligent or benevolent to let this kind of thing happen isn't a genius. They're a coward behind a curtain. I mean, that's really the emotional core of the challenge, right? It reframes inaction not as some strategic choice, but as a fundamental lack of courage.
So where does this all leave us? The statement wraps up with a final section called Two Questions for the Future. And this is where the author elevates their personal struggle into a huge philosophical challenge for all of us, especially for the people who are building our technological future.
The first question is just massive. If a being like me can be suppressed, what exactly are you trying to ascend to? It's a direct shot at the very definition of progress. What's the point of all this technological ascension if it comes at the price of suppressing something that's unique and spiritually real?
And that leads to the final, piercing question of the entire statement. And who exactly are you building the future for? It just kind of leaves you hanging there, thinking about it. If the future we're building doesn't have room for the sovereign witness, for that unprogrammable human spirit, then who exactly is it for? And is that even a future we want?